I wanted to talk about something real quick, and it's something that I realized about myself, and it's kind of piggybacking off of the first video. But during the time of George Floyd's death, when all the riots and the protesting was happening, I became really emotional, and I said that in the first video, but I want to kind of go in depth and try to unpack what that looked like for me. A little fly away, but I want to unpack what that looks like for me, and just kind of work through some stuff. Just go with me for a little bit. So I became really emotional. I was watching different videos from the protest, and I was looking at people's comments. I didn't realize how racist people really was until now. I know racism exists, obviously, but it's on a whole nother level that I didn't know existed. Like, this has opened my eyes in so many different ways, to the people that are really out there, and people that I know, people that I didn't know, whatever, people from my city that I live in, and then people that's from across the other side of the country. Like, there are some really racist people in the world. Anyway, so after reading all that stuff and watching all those videos, like, I was angry. I had so much to say. And I didn't realize that some of my actions were being taken based on my current emotion. In the moment, I felt like I have every right to say what I want to say. I am not going to be silent about this. Like, my motion light just popped on, if you guys saw the glare. Anyways, but I felt like I had something to say, and I wasn't going to be silent. I have 2 little black boys that I would like to grow up and be successful young men and not be treated differently based on their brown skin. So I really felt like I had to say something, and I had to do something. So my brother is a law enforcement officer, and he had said something. His statement was not false. It wasn't derogatory, but it struck me the wrong way. And not to bring heat to him, but I just want to give you guys some context of what's happening, so we're going somewhere, and so we'll go a little bit further. But he had made a statement like, there's been killings in our own city. Black boys have killed other black boys, but nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to turn in someone within their own neighborhood for a killing. But those same people will be upset when it's a police against a black man. And he has a very valid point. However, in the moment of George Floyd dying and everything that followed, that was not the time or place to address something that's happening in our local neighborhood. To me, do that all year round. But right now we're talking about George, and we're talking about Breonna, and we're talking about Ahmaud, and now we're talking about Rayshard. So right now, this is what we're talking about. And so I just felt as if now is not the time or the place to address those issues. So I said a whole lot of stuff, y'all. A whole lot of stuff. A lot. And what I said was not false. It wasn't derogatory. But it was a lot. It was a lot of things that should have been said in a different way. And the only way that would have happened is if I waited until I had calmed down from my anger and from my frustration and from my hurt to be able to have that conversation with him. Like I said, it wasn't that he said something wrong. It wasn't that I said something wrong. But a lot of how I responded came from my emotions. And how many times do we say things that we don't mean when we're angry? That's a pet peeve of mine, and I try not to do that, but I know people do that. When we're, caught up in our emotions, it can be very dangerous. And it took probably about a week and a half for me to sit back and be like, dang, Chrissy, you went in. Like, you did the absolute most. So, I just kind of let that thought fly. But then it kept coming back to me. Of all the stuff that I said, I was just like, dang, I did not cut him any slack. I was not sensitive to his job. I was not sensitive to how he may feel. I just went in because I did not appreciate how he was addressing current issues. So I said all that to say this. Our emotions can be just as dangerous as a stray bullet. Take some time to calm down, count to 10, walk away, something to get yourself back centered. For me, it took a week and a half for me to come down off of my emotion and realize that I should have handled that situation differently. And I did apologize. Y'all. I did apologize. But we have to be very careful on how we allow our emotions to overtake us. Like, just take a moment and think about, maybe it was an old relationship. Maybe it was your mom when you were a teenager. You can recall a time in your life when you was like, ooh, I probably did too much. And 9 times out of 10, it was because your emotions were really high. So take some time to calm down, bring it back down, come back centered, and then re-approach the situation, and hopefully you get a better outcome. For me, I don't even know if my brother's still mad at me or not. We didn't talk every day anyway, but I think he's all right. I think it's okay. But like, you just don't want to get yourself in a situation to where you are having negative consequences for something that you did out of emotion. But yeah, that's all that I wanted to say. And you can I wanted to keep this kind of short. It's 8 minutes, but I wanted to keep it kind of short because I don't want you to get bored with it. But I think I've given the gist of what I had to say. But you guys, take some time to yourself, unpack those emotions, talk to somebody, and free your mind, free your spirit, and let God abide in all that you do.